Okay, so this is the 3-5 Algebra 1 notes for 3-5, pages 273 to 276, assignment pages 277 to 279, 2 through 20 even. This is over the standard form of a line. The standard form of a line is ax squared plus by equals c, where a is the number in front of the x, b is the number in front of the y, and they can't be zeros. Okay, and then C is the number that doesn't have an X or Y. If you just look at the standard form, the question is, can you tell what the slope is just by looking at the numbers in front? The answer is no. But we do have a formula to figure it out when we have A, B, and C. And the formula for finding the slope when we have ABC is negative A over B. So whatever the number is in front of the X, change its sign, that's what the negative in front means, and then divide by the number in front of the B. We also want to know, can we find the slope? Well, looking at it, I'm sorry, not the slope, the y-intercept. Looking at them, we do not, but we do have a formula for B. It is take the C and divide by whatever the B is, and that will find your y-intercept. We also have a formula for the x-intercept, which is to find the C divided by the A. So using these three shortcuts, we can actually rewrite any equation that's in standard form back into the formula of y equals mx plus b, which is where we really want most of them to go. So because when it's in the form of y equals mx plus b, which is the slope intercept form, that also tells us the slope and the intercept, which tells us our m and our b automatically. So if we start with standard form, if we use these three shortcuts, we can then rewrite that equation into the new form, and then we know what our slope and our intercept is, which helps us to draw the graph. The other form that we have learned is the point slope. Again, the point slope says this word slope in its name, so it does tell us our slope, but what it does not tell us is our b. However, it does tell us our x and our y. In this case, our xy is positive 6, negative 8, because the standard form of this is y minus k equals m times x minus h. So if you know the standard form, the basic form of it, you can figure out that we have an m and we have a positive 6 for x and a negative y for 8 for y, and therefore we can now use that to find our b using our other formulas that we talked about. So again, our slope here is negative 2/3. Our standard form cannot tell us that, but the other two forms will. Our y-intercept is -4. Standard form and point slope does not tell us that, only slope-intercept form does. Okay, so again, you might want to write this on. These are the three shortcuts that I was just telling you about. So if you have ax plus by equals c form, you can take the a from in front of the x, change its sign, and then divide by b. You can take c divided by b to find the y-intercept, and c divided by a to find the x-intercept. Write these three onto your formula sheet if you did not already do so. Okay, so there is something that is very important when you're doing this. It is simply a couple of steps. So your first step, which this is ordered wrong, first step is to find the m and the b. Now you may have to use the formulas for m and b, which again, the formula for m is y minus k over x minus h, and the formula for b is y minus mx. Or they may give you the m, and then you still have to find the b. Either way, find the m and b, then rewrite it in y equals mx plus b. And then the really nice thing about it is it's really easy to transition from this form to standard form by just moving our x and changing its sign. So that is what I've shown you here. So step 1 was to find the m, which was given to us. Step 2 is to find the b, which is negative 24. And then we find the negative 2x minus 24. And then all we had to do is take that negative 2x, move it across, and make that 2x plus y is equal to negative 24, which is the form that is standard. Okay, so I will do number 5 with you all the way through. So m here is 4. xy is given to us. So we are going to find b is y minus mx. Y is 0, minus 4 is our m, and negative 3 is our x. So 0 minus negative 12, which makes that positive 12. So y equals m for x plus 12. Now all we have to do is take this and move it across, changing its sign. So negative 4x plus y is 12, and that is our final answer. Okay. On this question, it's showing you a whole lot of different ways to do it. I again am going to suggest that we use the m and the v and find our y equals mx plus b. They're showing you using point slope. I do not like that formula, so we are not going to use that very often. The only thing that I haven't shown here, because I follow the same pattern, find our m and b, you find a y equals mx plus b, and then move. But there is one step. We don't like to have negatives or fractions in front of our x. So to get rid of the fraction, we're going to multiply everything across by 2. That will get rid of the denominator, but put the 2 in front of the y and change our 4 to 8. Then we want to get rid of the negative, so we're going to multiply everything by negative 1, which will just basically change all the signs all the way across. This would be the most correct version of a slope in a standard form. Okay, so again, we are given a slope. We are given a point, we find our b, we find our y equals mx plus b, then we move our x. And again, if we don't want the negative in front, we multiply by negative 1, and that really just changes everybody's signs. And that would be the answer. Okay? So one last time, find m. If you have to use the formula, which is what I've done in the question here. Find your b, put it in y equals mx plus b form, then move your x. And again, if you need to multiply by everything for a fraction, multiply everything by the denominator or by negative 1, but that's just an extra step to clean things up a little bit. So one more example, m is y minus k over x minus h. So xy, hk, 5 minus negative 6 over 1 minus negative 10. So that is 5 plus 6, which is 11, 1 plus 10, which is 11. So that gives us 1. And then b is y minus mx. So y is 5 minus 1 for m, 1 for x. So 5 minus 1 is 4. Y equals 1x plus 4. And then we move our x, making it negative. And then again, move the negative into all of the rest of them to change the sign so that we have a positive x. And that's it. So notice I'm using the same 4 steps every time, regardless of the type of problem that they're asking. If you constantly use the same steps, it will make this process much easier. Okay, one last example is a question that is talking about a word problem. So there's a couple of keywords that help us to figure it out. Rate of change or rate of or per are keywords for the word slope or for the slope. And then anytime it's talking about something that's before, that is always talking about our b. So writing this equation, we find our m and our b, and then it's the same thing. We're just taking and rearranging. And again, if we need to change it to a positive x, we simply make, oops, I forgot the x there. X minus y is negative 1.5. So that's what you're going to do. So we're going to be looking at it. We're seeing that the pool contains 18,000. It didn't say per, it just said 18,000. So that's our B. Then it says after 2 hours, 15,000 were remaining. Well, this is a rate. So 12,500, and then it said after 2 hours. So that is, no, I'm sorry. That's telling us at 2 hours we had this much. Well, if this was our starting point, that means at time 0 we were there. So there's our 2 points. Now we can find our M. So M is 18,000 minus 12,500 over 0 minus 2. And that would give us our M, and then we can find our mx plus b. So 18,000 minus 12,500 over 0 minus 2, which is it's losing 2,750 per hour. Okay, so that's our M. So Y is negative 2,750 X plus 18,000. Okay, and then we just move our 2,750 X plus Y is 18,000. And that's all you'd have to do. Okay, remember to do problems 2 through 20 on 3-5 if you're doing the paper version. And if you are doing HRW, that is due at the end of this week.